thunderstorm activity as there was at this time yesterday, but there still is a chance here for a few more storms this evening. Meanwhile, it is hot. It's 92 degrees in Pueblo, east-southeast winds at 17 miles per hour. So we do have storms in the region. Nice cluster of non-severe thunderstorms now moving just east of I-25 in Huerfano, Los Animas County. And then this line of thunderstorms has put out this gusty outflow boundary. You can see this line on radar. So these winds from these thunderstorms are triggering more storms to form in southern El Paso County. So this same thing could happen in Pueblo County as this line of gusty wind continues to move southward. Also, these storms could put out an outflow boundary that could move northward. That could trigger thunderstorm development in Pueblo County here tonight. So it's still possible to see some rain on the burn area this evening, but the chances are a little bit lower than they were the past couple days. Storms generally are going to be moving eastward through the plains this evening, probably headed out of here within the next 5 hours. We have a flash flood watch once again for the third day in a row for the Aspen Acres burn zone. So I know the watch seems to cover the entire Pueblo County, but that's just how the National Weather Service had to put it in their system. It's really just focused on the burn zone with that high risk of runoff and debris flow. So for fire crews and returning evacuees, this is something that you need to remain on high alert for. We could see damage to infrastructure from any debris flow, and I highly recommend getting a weather radio if you are returning to the zone after your evacuations have been lifted, specifically in the Beckwith Reservoir area. So in addition to that flash flood risk, a couple of storms could be severe today with wind gusts of 60 plus miles per hour, and that risk is highest in our southeastern corner, but it's possible to see a couple severe storms near I-25. Looking from our Colorado Springs Rockrimmon Station camera, you can see a towering cumulus cloud, some rain falling in southern El Paso County right now. So something very interesting is happening. This cluster of storms was in northeastern El Paso County earlier. It's moving now through Lincoln County, but it put out this line of gusty outflow wind, and that line actually helped to trigger more thunderstorm activity here on the south side of El Paso County. So zooming in there, we're getting some good rain moving through Security, Widefield, Fountain, Hanover area. You're likely seeing some tiny hailstones, mostly just some good rainfall and some gusty wind. So as that line continues to move south, we could see further thunderstorm development in Pueblo County. There's also this nice cluster of storms moving through Los Animas County now, clear of I-25. And as these storms continue to progress slowly eastward this evening, as I mentioned, there is a risk that they could become severe with damaging wind gusts in excess of 60 miles per hour. There is some potential for hail today. I think maybe 1-inch hailstones would be the limit. It's mostly a high wind and heavy rain threat for this evening. A few secondary showers could linger late tonight closer to I-25, but our main batch of strong thunderstorm activity is expected to clear out of here by probably 9-10 o'clock. And then overnight it's going to be pretty clear for us. We'll have maybe a few showers on Saturday, but unfortunately the trend is drying out for the weekend and staying that way.
Alert tonight. Also, you were saying that there's something maybe we need to clear up from the senators as far as monsoons go.
Yeah, we don't get monsoons, we get a monsoon pattern, and that is possible by the end of the month. But that's not the case for the immediate future. Only for the burn zone. It just looks like it extends into Pueblo County just based on how the National Weather Service can input this watch into the system. But this is mainly a high risk for fire crews and returning evacuees and for infrastructure. So burn scars like this are highly susceptible to flash flooding. So if you are a returning evacuee, not just today, but in the coming weeks, we are still going to have this flash flood threat. So you need to ask yourself, do you live near a creek? Do you live on steep terrain? Do you have a weather radio? So kind of gauge how much you have this risk at your particular property and make sure you have a way to receive alerts. Now we do have storms across the region today. You can see this dark stormy sky south of La Junta, and there are some thunderstorms kicking up now, like this one just west of Canyon City, and some storms are strong enough to be severe warned. So let's go to those. This one moving into Kiowa County. Now starting to move into Haswell, has potentially 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and up to 1-inch hailstones, which is the size of a quarter. We also have this severe thunderstorm warning that is south of the Arkansas River. It's moving through Otero, northern Los Animas County. This has potential for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts as well. Allison.
Alexander,
This afternoon due to two reasons. Number one, we have our third day in a row of a flash flood watch for the Aspen Acres burn zone, and this will be in place until 8 o'clock this evening. So far it has been quiet at the fire today. Unfortunately, no beneficial rainfall, but that has limited our flash flood risk so far today. But there have been numerous showers and storms that have formed this afternoon, and the secondary reason why we're weather alert is because some of these storms are strong enough to get a severe thunderstorm warning on them, especially likely as we get into the southeastern corner of the state. And that's actually where the storms are now that are severe warned. So getting you a lay of the land here, we do have some shower and thunderstorm activity in the Pikes Peak region, mostly El Paso County. Also, we have a storm forming just west of Canyon City now, and a small thunderstorm just now forming in eastern Pueblo County. And then these storms here are our main line of thunderstorms that initially formed today closer to I-25, since have drifted eastward. Now the storms themselves are moving pretty slow, but underneath them some very strong wind gusts are likely, and wind is the main reason why these are warned. So this severe thunderstorm warning, pretty large warning, encompassing this cluster of thunderstorms that's just south of the Arkansas River, has up to 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and up to penny-sized hail. So the hail wouldn't be severe, but that wind could potentially do damage. However, this storm moving into Haswell has a warning on it for severe hail of up to 1 inch in diameter, about the size of a quarter, as well as the damaging wind gust potential of 60 miles per hour. So we got these two warnings active right now, but looking behind that, we have some secondary storms that have started to form here closer to I-25. And again, so far they are missing the burn area. Looks like we may have a little rainbow forming in Colorado Springs right now. These are some of those showers that are in the southern half of El Paso County. So for the most part, I am concerned about storms as they move through the plains this afternoon for that strong wind potential. Anything that forms closer to I-25 in the mountains this evening will be weaker, but still you could see some lightning and heavy rain and gusty wind. Some late night storms could last as late as maybe midnight to 1 a.m. Overnight we'll be clearing out, and then tomorrow we're looking at very minimal shower activity. We're going to start a drying trend for the weekend, so maybe a few showers will be possible west of I-25, but that's about it for Saturday, and then Sunday is looking bone dry. So for tonight we're going to drop to the 50s and 60s. Tomorrow 80s and 90s. Sunday 80s and 90s. And this is going to board and La Junta, a very nasty storm headed your way, a storm that increased in intensity very quickly. So let's get straight to radar. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning for Otero County, where you can see this black color. That's the potential for up to tennis ball size hailstones falling between Holly and Swink, and that would be between Rocky Ford and La Junta. The storm itself also has the potential of 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts that can do damage in addition to the hail. Looks like that hail core really is moving into the Swink area right now, but the wind could be all encompassed within this entire cell. Now that's definitely the strongest section of this thunderstorm. We have this large cluster of storms further south of that section that has up to 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and non-severe hail. And then we have this storm moving into Kiowa County, has passed Haswell now, moving towards Eads. This has potential for up to 1-inch hailstones and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Also, we have a new severe thunderstorm warning for Kit Carson. So this is our most feisty line of storms. There are a few showers and minor thunderstorms behind there in the Pikes Peak region and between Pueblo and Canyon City. I'll continue to track these as they move east through the plains through the rest of the evening. And then coming up, we have a really hot and dry weekend ahead associated with this strong storm moving through the area and potentially damaging hailstones as well. So taking a large lay of the land, we have this northern cluster of strong storms and this southern cluster. The strongest storm we have in the region right now is a storm we can see from La Junta, where we have heavy rainfall currently. You're probably going to get at least some small coin-sized hailstones, but the main hail core here has been this dark color. It does look to have reduced in severity a bit. So where we earlier had the potential of tennis ball sized stones between Holly and Swink, now this is warned for up to ping pong ball sized hailstones moving along up to the Arkansas River now. This storm taking a little bit more of a northward turn as it continues to grow over the Arkansas River. This entire zone also could have damaging wind gusts of 70 miles per hour. The southern section of this storm probably will be moving out of this current warning. There it goes. It just expired. I do see this potentially being re-warned for up to 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and non-severe hail, but there is a potential for severe hailstones in these two storms here. I'll move this out of the way so you can move further west. Non-severe, more general showers and storms towards El Paso County and forming in Fremont County as well. So far today, the Aspen Acres fire has been dry. There's still a chance for a few thunderstorms in that zone this evening. So we still have a flash flood watch at the Aspen Acres burn zone until 8 o'clock. For any storms that may develop over the burn area, they would very quickly provide a flash flood risk. But the strongest storms do remain in the eastern plains here for the rest of the night. We could still have some nighttime showers closer to I-25. They'll be very hit or miss, and they'll be likely non-severe. Maybe the worst you'll get out of them is some moderate rain and some lightning. So tomorrow, noticeably different. A few showers and storms will be possible, mostly up into the higher terrain and west of I-25, but we're really going to start to dry out for the weekend and sunshine will prevail. Tonight we're going to drop to the 50s and 60s. Saturday afternoon, 80s and 90s. Sunday afternoon, 80s and 90s. Get used to those 90s because heading into next week, this ridge of high pressure is just going to take over the entire country. It's going to be very strong, and under high pressure, we have sinking air, which keeps us hot, dry, and the air is pretty stagnant underneath that. There is a little bit of hope in sight, though, for a weather pattern change by the end of July. A monsoon pattern looks to potentially set up for us more around the 20th in between Rocky Ford and La Junta. And from Swink, this was Georgia's view of copious amounts of hail falling at her house this evening, and Michael captured the aftermath of that storm in Swink. I definitely see some large hailstones in that pile there, and there was some really heavy rainfall and some flooding in town as well. So we still do have some shower and thunderstorm activity in the eastern plains. This is leftover from the strong storms earlier today. These storms are a little newer, so reforming tonight in Otero County where the strong storms were earlier. I'm not expecting these ones to be severe, but adding on a little bit to the potentially still waterlogged roads and puddles on the ground. These showers will probably wrap up by maybe midnight to 1 a.m. And then looking ahead for this weekend, thunderstorm activity across southern Colorado this afternoon and evening. Pretty heavy rainfall, even reports of flash flooding, especially between the La Junta and Lamar area where we had some really heavy rainfall, but unfortunately Aspen Acres fire did not get rain today. other than maybe a few sprinkles. And looking ahead, we're not going to get much more rain in the extended outlook, but I do have some hope in sight. Stick around for a few minutes, I'll show you that. So we still have some leftover shower activity here. Strikes are going down a bit. So these showers, which are with us now, are just going to rain themselves out over the next hour or two, maybe a few showers lingering as late as 1 a.m. Gradually through the night, the sky will clear out, and then Saturday will look different. We've had numerous showers and storms the past 3 days, but the activity on Saturday will be much more isolated. Most of that activity will be up into the mountains, maybe 1 or 2 storms towards I-25, but for the most part, we're starting a drying trend tomorrow, and that's going to continue through the weekend forecast. So for tonight, near average lows, 50s and 60s for most of us, and then temperatures start to increase a bit. We'll be about 3 to 5 degrees above average on Saturday as well as Sunday. It's going to be hot. In general, we're going to have lots of sunshine, so make sure you're practicing sun safety. Make sure you're covering yourself with SPF, extra clothing, hat, long sleeves if you're going to be outside for a long time. And in general, you're going to start hearing a lot of headlines about how hot the U.S. is in the coming week, because we'll have a very strong ridge of high pressure just kind of overtake the entire country, and we are going to feel the impacts of this high pressure over Colorado with sinking air that typically keeps us hot, dry, and the air remains stagnant. I talked about some hope on the horizon. We're looking now towards late July, maybe around the 20th. I'm starting to see a monsoon flow develop. So as a high pushes a little further east, we'll get some moisture return, and this wind flow bringing in moisture to the Four Corners states is the definition of the monsoon pattern, and there is hope that that will set up for us beyond